I thank my friend from Nebraska. We're all Bulldogs in Georgia. Even those folks who went to the trade school in downtown Atlanta, known as Georgia Tech, are still Bulldogs at heart. I want to thank you for leading this hour tonight, because so often when folks think about what we do here, they're thinking about Republican this, Democratic that, partisan this, partisan that. Folks getting mired down in philosophical debates. What you have done here tonight is get into that core of what I think we all as Americans care about. We're talking about energy security. We're talking about something that, in an all-of-the-above energy strategy, that lowers energy prices, that puts more money in the pockets of every single American family through lower prices, that creates job opportunities, not just in your state or my state, but all across this country. And, Madam Speaker, that provides us with energy security. I grew up in the 70s. I remember the gas lines. I remember sitting outside, and that was our great president from the state of Georgia that was presiding in those days. And I will never forget President Reagan's first inaugural address. He was talking about the challenges that we were facing as Americans. He was talking about the big dreams that it was going to take to overcome those challenges. He conceded that they were big dreams. But he said, why shouldn't we dream those dreams? Because after all, we are Americans. We're Americans. What my friend from Nebraska said about the oil exploration in Canada really struck me. We have this debate about whether or not we should build a pipeline to bring Canadian energy down into America to provide American jobs, American construction, American manufacturing. And there are those who say, well, no, don't do it, because it would be better if that oil stayed in the ground. That's not a choice. That's not an option that's anywhere in this House, that's anywhere within our jurisdiction. The gentleman pointed out exactly what the truth of the matter, which is, if we don't do it, somebody else will. Yeah. If we don't do it, somebody else will, and there's not a nation on the planet that is going to burn that oil more responsibly than we will. And I love that about us. Madam Speaker, I love that about us, that no one will do it better than we will. This bill is H.R. 2. We reserve those numbers for the most important things that we do. I don't know if folks know that, Madam Speaker. You know, those top 10 numbers in the bill calendar, reserve those for the biggest and best things we do. But because people think this is such a partisan institution, they might think that we save those numbers for the Republicans Are the Greatest Act. They might think we save those numbers for It's Our Way or the Highway Act. Nonsense. We save those numbers for the things that matter to everyone. To everyone. My friend from Nebraska can correct me if I'm wrong, but we have packaged together a collection of bills that have passed this House. We've put them together in H.R. 2, and every single bill in that package passed with a bipartisan vote.
It's true.
Madam Speaker, I want you to hear that. We had a chance here. Republicans run this show. If we wanted to just jam something through, we could. But when we talk about energy independence, we're not talking about Republicans and Democrats. We're talking about Americans. We're talking about every family in this country. And what the gentleman from Nebraska has done is put together those common sense ideas that have been agreed upon by both sides of the aisle, bipartisan votes, everyone, and said, let's not let this year expire without doing those things that we can do, agreeing on those things on which we can agree.
May I interrupt you on that point?
Be happy.
Just a second, because it's interesting. When I'm back home, and maybe you get this, we get input from our constituents, and one of the most frequent ones is, why don't you do the bills that you do agree on? And in essence, that's what this bill does, because we've had 30, 40, 50 Democrats involved in the bills and voting for them. And so this is an amalgamation of bipartisan bills, but yet we had less Democratic support for today's bill than we did as individual bills. And I think maybe there is a little bit of politics being played.
You may not know, Madam Speaker, but my friend from Nebraska is the author of the Northern Route Approval Act. Those bills that passed here with a bipartisan majority, and it's in this package. It's in this underlying package, and we talk about this as if it's an energy bill because it's H.R. 2. It is the energy bill. But that very same language that my friend has authored and led through this House of Representatives is included in the study committee's package known as the Jobs Bill. Jobs Act. That collection of bills that will put Americans back to work, that will grow the economy, that will do those things that are on the minds of every single American family. And too often, we talk about energy issues as if they're separate from those issues. And what my friend knows, and what he's been leading in this hour tonight, Madam Speaker, is that energy issues are jobs issues. Energy issues are family issues. Energy issues are issues to every single American citizen. And never before in my lifetime have I had the hope that we would get the hands that have been around the American neck by those who supply us with energy. We have that opportunity. I was listening to my friend from Indiana talk about coal. We're the Saudi Arabia of coal in America. The Saudi Arabia of coal, and the administration is trying to single-handedly tie the hands of the energy industry not to exploit, and I mean exploit in the best possible sense of the word. I mean exploit in the utilize, in the harness, in the grow sense of the word. Taking that off the table. That's not an environmental decision. That's a jobs decision. And we feel that in each and every one of our districts. Madam Speaker, there are a lot of ways to run this institution. You can run this institution with the iron fist that says my way or the highway. Or you can run this institution with those common sense ideas that speak to every single American family. Folks think this is an election year, I say to my friend from Nebraska, and they think that brings out the worst in this body. What I want to say to you, under your leadership, under these bills that we see here tonight, these bills that are packaged in H.R. 2, that most preeminent number in priority of here at the House of Representatives, what you are leading is that language, that bill, that opportunity that puts America first, and being a Republican or a Democrat way, way down the list. I think that's what folks are looking for. I think good policy is good politics. I think doing the right thing for the right reason is better than having the right commercial at the right time. It matters. And it matters to me that we have leaders like you who carry that message. I'm grateful to you for leading the hour tonight. I'm grateful to you for including me in it. I'm grateful to you for yielding me the time. And with that,
and I'm grateful you stayed.